62, and Rick Barnes gets his first ever victory against his old team, Texas, in the first meeting against him. 62-58. And if you thought this game was going to be in the 70s or the 80s, you got something completely different. These teams, none of them shot over 40% from the field or three-point land. Dalton Knecht had 18 points on 18 shots. Kendall Weaver was the leading scorer for Texas, 13. Their best scorer, Max Asmus, only had 10 points. And now, let's bring in Chip Patterson and Matt Norlander. And guys, this was, I won't say it was hard to watch, but it was a brick fest, right? And then you had a lot of defensive efforts, great efforts by Jonas Adu, Josiah Jordan-James. And the fact that Tennessee won, but I think only making three-pointers in this game, what does that say to you, Chip, about the other ways that they can get W's done in the crunch time?
Sure. Well, this is a Tennessee team that we already knew was going to be changing the narrative. I mean, yes, do they still want to have a physicality and a presence and sort of impose their will? Yes. But they also have a little bit more pace. They also have a little bit more offensive firepower. Dalton Knecht doing a lot of both of those things. You know, this was a nervy ending. You look up, you think that Tennessee's going to run away with it. But Texas has too many talented players. And, of course, they were going to make it a game by the end. Good job by the Volunteers with the defensive stops and the free throws you needed to be able to seal the win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Tennessee going 15 of 18 from the foul line made up for the fact that it was 3 of 25 from three-point range. I promise you this, Tennessee will not have a worse game than that for the remainder of this tournament, whether that is 1 more game or 4 more games. And the fact that Texas could not get a big game out of Max Asmus was ultimately, in my opinion, what did them in. I thought that Asmus and Hunter needed to combine for 25 or more points. Instead, they go for 23, and it's just not enough. Tennessee holds on, defensive effort, combined from three-point range, by the way, in this game, 10 of 48 between both of these teams. So no, it was not an entertaining output. Both teams were under 1 point per possession. Tennessee's the better team. It held on in the end. It gets to the Sweet 16. I'll go big picture on you here, guys. It is just get the win. If you're Rick Barnes, get the win. He entered this NCAA tournament with 27 tournaments to his name. He was a 500 coach in the NCAA tournament. He always gets there, but rarely makes deep runs. Only has 1 Final Four to his name. This team is good enough with Dalton Knecht to get there. He's a different kind of player. That Dalton Knecht we didn't see tonight overall, but for your Tennessee fan base to get them into the second weekend, live up to your seed to this point, I think was crucial for Tennessee's reputation, for Rick Barnes as well. And they've got a chance, although the region's tough, they're sitting there with Purdue, and we got to see if even Purdue can get out of a Utah State game on Sunday. We got to wait and see on that. Tennessee still just get through, and it is a tough scout, a tough matchup, a big development for the Vols.
36 minutes of this game, 36 out of 40. That's how many they play. That was Tennessee leading. This final score was not indicative of the way the game played out, and maybe speaks to some of those nerves with the Tennessee team that has felt like, and the program that has felt like it has fallen short in the past. So now they finally get through. Now the big challenge awaits in the second weekend.
So when it comes to that big challenge, y'all, who would you rather face? Matt, I'll start with you. Oregon or Creighton? Because both teams present a lot of challenges to Tennessee.
I'd rather face Oregon. Creighton's definitely a much better team. There's no question about it. Creighton has one of the best starting fives in the country. Baylor Sharman's been like a third-team All-American this season. Ryan Kalkbrenner's one of the best defenders. You've got Trey Alexander, who's a pro wing. Stephen Ashworth, he can be good for a dagger or two every time out. Oregon's been on a hotter streak as of late for sure, but the Ducks within Fali Dante, good player. They just aren't nearly as good as Creighton. In a single-game situation, anything can happen, but on balance, you would rather face Oregon in that kind of spot. Creighton is a much tougher matchup, and I've got Creighton actually beating Tennessee to move on to the Elite Eight.
Hey, give me the Vols over both of them. Yeah. Nah, this isn't a problem. The problem for Tennessee is dealing with your own expectations. The problem for Tennessee is making sure that you don't fall flat on your face. And the problem for Tennessee is not who they might face in the Sweet 16, but if Purdue is waiting in the Elite Eight, because then you've got Rick Barnes and Matt Painter and these programs that are starving for the Final Four, and it would just be hanging there in the balance the whole time. So, yeah, I like Tennessee. This was an important win to me, more of a mental hurdle, and now they go into the second weekend, eyes on the Final Four, and whoever they play in the Sweet 16, I'll be taking the Vols.
All right, Vols with Chip. Matt, though, he likes Creighton, if Creighton is able to get past Oregon. And here's a look at how Tennessee has done as a 2 seed. So this year, they reached the Sweet 16. You got to go back to 2019. They lost in the Sweet 16. Then 08 as well. In 2006, they didn't even make it into the second weekend. They lost in the round of 32. And this is the first time they've gone back-to-back Sweet 16 appearances since 08. That's when Chris Lofton was playing, a Tennessee legend for sure.